What's up, family? It's your boy Gerald. It is Thursday night, May 10th, 2018. I'm looking rusty and dusty. That's okay, because I spent time out in my yard pulling up weeds, trenching areas, because I have a vision of planting flowers and redevelopment, because that's what you do. You build off of what is already given, and through the process, you break off the rough edges. Some of y'all may be wondering, well, why did you put the title the way you did? Well, one thing I know about my subscribers is the fact that you guys are very in tune socially. You know what's going on. You're very aware to the social climate. And the beautiful thing about it is you don't accept what is given. You always question, because that's what critical thinking is all about. And rightfully so. So, I thought it was kind of ironic that last week, social media on all platforms decided to make the Kanye West show about his comments, and felt that they had a need to put their spin on it. And then, not even 72 hours later, actor, producer Donald Glover put out his video for, well, his alias is Childish Gambino. This is America. And it's got a lot of people feeling a certain kind of way. If you haven't seen the video, I highly recommend it. Take a look. Because it only validates what has already been there. You can't say it's been hidden in plain sight, because it's part of your history. And that is why it's so important, family, to invest not only in yourself, but take time to reflect on where you've been. Yes, you don't think, you actually think that everything that you have experienced, everything that you have saw, everything that you have felt was just by chance? Come on. You're doing yourself a disservice if you think that is the case. Because it's not. Bear with me. Springtime pollen is a call to make sure that yourself, you got to stay healthy, family. Mind, body, and spirit. But not to lose sight. You got a lot of people in their feelings right now because of that video. You got a lot of people feeling uneasy about that video. But on one side of the faction, you have those that say it is groundbreaking. And then the other side, you have those that quickly want to spin it and say, oh, that's being militant. That is planting seeds of rebellion. When actually it's not. This is your history. And the sooner you decide to invest in it, the more clear your direction is going to be. Now, I had to say that because it would be very remiss to only put our continent in that capsule, so to speak, and say, well, that applies only to us. When no, this is truly what breeds fear, denial, deflection. Worldwide. You hear what I said? Worldwide. But you don't get to see, you may not get to hear the moans and groans of those people that are going through atrocities every day. And that actually breeds a false sense of security. That is why I got to go back to what I said before. Do you know who you are? Because if you did, you would understand the importance of your legacy, who you are. And the work's still not done because they can't be done until you decide to claim you. You can't allow yourself to be reactionary. Why? Why would you do that? Do you realize how many people are benefiting the fact that if you just stay put? Do you think about that? Think about all the people that have said, well, you know what? They'll never do it. I know them like the back of my hand, and they ain't got it in them. Imagine if you decided just to be still, and you did. That means you have to be committed to yourself. And when you are committed to yourself, guess what? You don't need nobody's permission to grow. Who am I talking to? You don't need permission to reflect. You don't need permission to go within the ethers of your mind. Do you realize you only use 6% of that beautiful mind? 6. And imagine if you only use just 0.1% to your efforts. You realize how drastically your life will change? I know somebody's saying, well, Gerald, I got that. I done heard that before about you. You always optimistic. Well, guess what? I don't have to live your life, but I do want you to have the best life. Maybe that's something that you need to consider because your friends, why aren't they the example of that? I'm just saying. I know I look crazy. My hair is all over my head. But look, I told you. This is for that person that says, this is the end all be all of my life. Nothing can change. Yes, it can. The moment that you take those can'ts, nevers, would nots, ain't gonna have, ain't gonna change mentality, you're gonna grow. You're gonna fly. You're gonna soar. I think it was who was that said that? And I don't want to do a disservice. Israel Johnson, life coach. If you've never seen his videos, check him out. He's a good brother, very good brother. But he made a great analogy when he said, and I don't know, maybe he got it from somebody else, but he spoke it where he said, chickens can't fly. No, chickens can't soar where an eagle, no, chickens can't fly. No, pigeons can't fly where the eagle soars. So you got to decide, are you going to be the pigeon? Because what do the pigeons do? They feed off of what is given. They accept the condition. and they just move on when they feel threatened. But you never see pigeons fly. You never see them soar. As strong as their wings are, they're always at a certain level. I know some of y'all know some pigeons, huh? Every time when you catching a proverbial L, them pigeons are right there to pick up the seed. They're right there to make sure that you feel a certain kind of way. They're right there to layer on the despair. But they're never there to set or set the example of what flying high is all about. Why is that? I'm going to tell you why. Because they enjoy being second rate. And they can't afford you to change the mindset that you have. Because if you continue to have the mindset, guess what? They got company. And doesn't that sound like she turned around and put the conversation, is that word changed on there. Now, mind you, you're entitled to do what you want to do. Do what you got to do. But one thing that she didn't do with that same energy was look at it as a form of protection. I know some of y'all are saying, well, how is that protection, Gerald? This poor woman, she's heartbroken because the guy that she was involved with got married on her. Let me tell you something. All patterns will remain the same until the lesson comes. And really that lesson is really a blessing in disguise because it had to happen for you to decide to claim your worth. Who am I talking to? That's why I always tell y'all, stop looking at your cell phone. Stop looking at your watch, wondering when that phone call gonna come. Stop putting energy with no return. Because that is not a relationship. That's a dictatorship. Because you are being disenfranchised and nothing more than a victim of what we know as Stockholm Syndrome. That's when, for those who don't know what Stockholm Syndrome is basically you admire the abuser. You're sympathetic to what they're doing. But guess what? All they're doing is benefiting because they refuse to see your worth. They refuse to see your value. And they refuse to take accountability of the choices made. So guess what? Through all that distraction, all that deflection, you're not seeing your worth either. And you are losing time. Did you hear what I said? You're losing time. I know there are going to be countless people going to be saying, well, Gerald, you know, all I ever wanted was peace of mind. You notice the things that you need, you can't put a price on? How about being honest with yourself? How about being able to critically think? Because as long as you allow someone to be in the driver's seat of your life, you will never reach the destination for your legacy. Who am I talking to? So yeah, you can turn around and vent and complain and point the fingers, but guess what? It will also show that the relationship, the dysfunctions of that relationship is nothing but a reflection of the relationship that you have with yourself. If you don't love you, you can't expect someone to love you back. Why? Because you set the standards. If someone is not being truthful and the dialogue of the questions that need to be, first of all, let me, I had to learn this. A person will never give you the answers that you need if you don't have the courage to ask the questions that are required. I don't care what they bring to the table. They could have everything that says they are an excellent provider. I'm throwing this out there because you see this play out every day. You always see the illustrations through media talking about, oh, poor such and such, you know, and her knight in shining armor. He was vindictive. He was abusive. He didn't respect her. And the reason why he didn't respect her because she didn't respect herself first. She didn't love herself more. This is the same thing with guys. You ain't out the woods. It doesn't matter what you bring to the table. I don't care if you are Johnny Appleseed between your legs. Excuse my French. If you don't respect yourself, guess what? You can't expect her to respect you because she's not. She's not. You know, that's how that whole saying goes. If you're not willing to stand on it, you can't expect to defend it because your foundation is not stable. It's not. Now, why am I saying that? I'm saying this because, family, we are in a pivotal period of time. Right now, this is for my melanated folks. There are those people that do not want you to invest in your legacy. They don't want you to do that. And let me not be rude. You see me moving around? I know you said, like, my hair is all over my head. You know why my hair is all over my head, family? Just like I did 5 years ago. I got tired of women. You know I love you, Queen. I do. I got tired of women going inside their mind and said, I'll never be. Well, your hair is your crown, sweetheart. Yes, right, King. It always was. But you hiding it. You hiding it. So just then, almost 5 years ago, I said, you know what? After much prayer, God told me in a dream, I'm going to teach you patience. And he told me in a dream, the best illustration I can show you of patience, you're going to grow your hair. You can't get no more patient than allowing your hair to grow. And you're looking at a cat who used to stay in the barbershop almost once a week, keeping the fade tight, keeping it groomed. No, I was not conceited. I know somebody's saying that, but I'm not. And I also know that when I take my last breath, whenever that day comes, because no man knoweth the time nor moment, those who are going to come behind me are going to know that, hey, my great ancestor had a big heart. He was a real man. And that's the problem with society, Queen. You say you want a real man, and you're looking at the wrong place. And I'm going to tell you why you're looking at the wrong place. Because instead of looking outside your door, you need to look inside your heart and prepare. Y'all know y'all seeing these flickering. See, what y'all don't know is I got a real nasty thunderstorm right outside my garage. And it's passing by. So it's going to flicker. And I'm saying that for two reasons. Number one, I know sometimes it gets tiring. It gets hard. You feel lonely. And you actually sometimes will convince yourself that, well, you know what? I'll accept a piece of a man and deserve a whole man. Let me tell you something. Do not settle. Do not rush. Because every time you decide to rush out there into the world, guess what happens? Mr. Forever can't get to you because he's not ready. What Mr. Right Now is right outside your door. Who am I talking to? I know I got to keep it 100 because I got to reach the intended here. Because I got a feeling somebody's going to make a decision about this weekend. Yeah, you got the phone call out the blue. Your heart is feeling a certain kind of way because thinking back down memory lane, but you're not taking note on what part is you going to begin with. You're not looking at why you were divided to begin with. And if you do not critically think, you are going to hurt yourself even more. Of course, he's going to sound like, his words are going to sound like honey. But does he know his purpose? Is he speaking truth? Or is he telling you what you want to hear? That's for somebody. That's for somebody. I understand. You're getting tired because society has convinced you. So, well, you know what? I gotta financially stand on my own, and rightfully so. But emotionally, you tired of that other side of your bed being cold, and you want companionship. I got that. You're a human being, but you're a spiritual being first. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Now, with that being said, did y'all know this is for the intended ear, intended spirit? Did y'all know there's another strain of AIDS out there in society that will make the AIDS strain that's out here now look like a cold? Did y'all know that? Do your research, because it's out there. I'm telling y'all that because there are a group of people that have a position where they feel that the world is overpopulated. And they can't afford that because guess what? That means people are living longer, which means money, such as healthcare, is going to go up. You do understand that there's no money in cures. You do know that, right? That's why there's so much influence put out there to get high. Stay distracted. Don't see your worth. Live for today. Don't ground your feet. Don't speak your truth. And by all means, do not have a connection with your higher power. They want that, but they don't have the fortitude or the courage to tell you that. That's why there's so many people walking around deaf, dumb, and blind right now. But guess what? If that was the case, you do understand we can equate that to dollars and cents. That means they would lose a lot of money if you knew the truth. Think about that. They like the fact that you're dysfunctional, because as long as you stay dysfunctional, you're more prone to be impulsive. And guess what happens when you're impulsive? You spend money. Your wants take priority than your needs. That's why I put out long ago, if you're going through something, you feeling a certain kind of way, that is when you need to connect to your spirituality more than ever. Now, you may be going through a rough patch in your life where you feel that nothing you do amounts to nothing. I'm here to tell you, it does, because guess what? You woke up today. And guess what? Everything that you are going to do, that you commit to, will have a direct impact on those people who are going to come behind you. I know somebody's saying, well, Joe, you're being too deep. No, I'm being real. Because you're not going to be afforded the opportunity to meet future generations that are going to come behind you. But guess what? Your legacy is what they're going to go off of. So if you are in an environment where drama is priority, excuses is paramount, and denial is key, yeah, you probably feel a certain kind of way right about now. But I'm here to tell you, your dreams are being ransomed until you decide to commit to yourself. I feel sort of kind of funny because I'm talking to you guys through my cell phone. I'm like looking to the right when I don't know, Normally I use my laptop, but I felt that somebody needed to do that because right now you're kind of teeter-tottering. And somebody gave you a proposal and you thinking that's the opportunity that you need to go on. And I'm here to tell you, nah, that is not. You will be selling yourself short if you do. If anything, think about it this way. Look at it as where you were yesterday before the opportunity was presented. And base that on what will be different if you pursue it. Think of it that way. Now, I say that because anything that is divinely meant for you to have, there's no such thing as a missed opportunity. If it's divinely meant to have, for you to have, you're going to have it. It has to come to play because it's rightfully yours. It was assigned to your life the moment that you took your first breath. Now, I know somebody's like, I ain't trying to hear all that, Gerald, because you being religious. I'm not being religious because I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. Religious, the word religious means pattern. That's why you can religiously tie your shoe. The pattern is you tie your shoe. But spirituality is connection. Who are you connected to? And let that be your influence. Because if it does not build you up, if it does not inspire you, if it does not allow you to tap into your greatness, then what's influencing you? And let me keep it 100, because still people do not realize demons are real, family. The Jezebel spirit is real. Why do you think the moral compass when it comes to families is the way it is? Because she got work to do. She can't afford for you to be the person you destined. You are a threat. That's why people come into your life to pull you from what is priority. They can't afford that. Why? Because they don't have the fortitude to do it themselves. That's for somebody. I know somebody's kind of feeling perplexed because you're saying, well, Gerald, I've been friends with them for over 20 years, but can you see growth? Can you see the growth in your bond? Because if the only thing that you're seeing is pain, why is your loyalty there? Because their loyalty is not there. And you deserve better. So lastly, think of it this way. Imagine what your life would be better. Imagine what your life would be if you decided that this was the day that you are going to unconditionally focus on you. Now, don't get it twisted, because somebody will quickly say, well, no, that's being selfish. No, it's not. It's called being selfless, because if you're not doing your work, you're allowing someone to alter your work. The devil's work is never done, family. You don't believe me? Watch this. Think about that one time that you said, I wish that I could have that. Maybe you might have been with one of your girlfriends or your stick man, and dang, he got a bad man. He treated her bad and everything. Man, if she was with me, and then wham, somebody reminds you of them, comes into your life, and brings it back 5 steps. You're like, man, my life was totally different before you came in it. Why? Because that was a spiritual test. That was a spiritual test. Now, I'm about to bring this to a close because I felt this on my spirit that somebody needed to hear this, because you're about to make a decision that's going to alter the path of your life, because you're not seeing all that you need to see to make a conscious decision. So stay prayed up. Maybe that means don't answer that phone call. Maybe it means I'm not going to be able to make that timeline of, well, we're going to hang out. No, maybe you shouldn't. And see, that's the problem with some people. People have an entitled mentality and thinking that the world owes you. The only thing the world owes you is the opportunity for you to be in it. Who am I talking to? I'm just saying, if you spend one iota on negativity, first of all, you still don't believe God exists? Because if God didn't exist, you wouldn't feel the pain that you feel. You know what pain is? That is a reminder that you deserve better. That also is a reminder that you need to reflect more, because that is your protection. That's what it is. And you know what's behind pain? Clarity, truth, honesty, your self-worth. And it's waiting, and it'll be there until you decide to claim yourself. I'm just saying. Well, I'm going to shut my mouth. I spent the day out in the yard pulling weeds, playing with my imagination, because I got a vision on what I want to do to this yard, and it's going to come to pass. So, wherever you are, place God first. Sidestep the negativity, because guess what? Negativity requires you to have attendance. And guess what? Ain't no joy in that. Never allow someone to steal your smile, because it rightfully belongs right here. God's praying for you. You know who I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. Y'all know you heard that thunder, right? And you still don't know who you are? You still don't know. Go within yourself. Peace.